After watching this video, you'll have the knowledge to confidently respond to any Pythagoras-related questions. In this presentation, we will delve into the principles behind the Pythagorean theorem, explaining how and why it works. Additionally, we'll walk through some examples, starting from the simplest and gradually progressing to more challenging ones. In order to apply the Pythagorean theorem, your triangle must have a 90-degree angle, making it a right-angled triangle. In this context, we label the side opposite the right angle as C, or the hypotenuse, while the other two sides are denoted as A and B. The Pythagorean theorem states that C squared equals the sum of A squared and B squared. Now, let's delve into why this equation takes the specific form. When you create squares using the lengths of the sides of the triangle, with each square having all sides equal, you'll find that the area of the largest square, representing C, is equal to the combined areas of the other two squares, representing A and B. The area of a square can be calculated by multiplying one side by another side, or simply by squaring the length of one side, because all the sides are equal of a square. Considering that the area of square C is equal to the sum of the areas A and B, we can express this as C squared equals A squared plus B squared. This is the derivation of the expression for the Pythagorean theorem. Now we can move on to some examples. In the first example, we can see that it is a right-angled triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem to work out the missing side, or the hypotenuse. So, I'm going to label the hypotenuse as x, and if you remember, it is the hypotenuse squared equals the other two sides squared. But you could have also written it as 4 squared plus 3 squared. It doesn't matter. So 3 squared is 9 and 4 squared is 16. And this leaves you with 25. Now, to get rid of the exponent, you have to take the square root of both sides. And that will leave you with x equals 5. And if you think about it logically, you have to put units in. If they don't give you units, it's better just to write units next to your answer. Now moving on to the second example, we can see yet again that it is a right-angled triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem once again. So it is the hypotenuse squared equals the side squared plus the other side squared, which we are yet again going to label as x. So what you would need to do is subtract 5 squared from both sides to get the x squared on its own, as so. And then you can see that you are left with 13 squared minus 5 squared. And 13 squared is 169. 5 squared is 25. 5 squared minus 5 squared cancels out. Then you are left with x squared. And 169 minus 25 is 144. 144. And that is still equals to x squared. And to get rid of the exponent, once again, you take the square root of both sides, and then your x would be equal to 12. And remember your units. If they don't clarify or say, mention any units in the question, just write down units. It's a better way of presenting your answer. Now moving on to a more tricky example, you can see that it kind of looks like a kite that is split into two. It's split into two right-angled triangles, so now you know you can use the Pythagorean theorem. So how I would look at it is I would firstly look at this triangle. And you can see that you have this side length and you want this side length. But to calculate A, the hypotenuse, you would need this side length. So how you would get this side length is you would look at this triangle. And you can see that you have a side and you have the other side. So according to the Pythagorean theorem, you can calculate this hypotenuse. So we will do it as follow. I'm going to call this x yet again. So it's going to be x squared equals to the one side squared plus the other side squared. Now, 2.5 squared is equal to 6.25. And 6 squared is equal to 36. When you add those two together, you get 42.25. And don't forget to use square roots to cancel out the exponent at the x. Then you will be left with x equals the square root of 42.25 is 6.5. And in this question, they gave you units, which is centimeters. So put the units in your answer. Now, you have x. So you have this side length, you have this side length, and you want this hypotenuse. And you can calculate it as follow. You would say a squared equals the one side squared plus your 6.5, which is your x. Then it will be a squared equals 3.5 squared is 12.25. 6.5 squared is 42.25. 12.25 plus 42.25 is 54.5. Now, yet again, don't forget to take the square root of a squared and on the other side. Then your final answer would be a equals 7.38 if you were to round the answer off to 2 decimals or 3 significant figures. And don't forget your units. There we go. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope that you gained a lot of confidence with using Pythagoras. And yeah, thank you.